Yeah.
Richard Powell, he's back in the chair.
He's back, baby.
Let me ask you a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Were you born with the name Richard Powell?
Yes, I was.
Pow.
I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Only right now, only my wife knows this. I'm considering changing my name.
Okay.
I swear to God. I'm 50%
What?
bought into this.
What?
What to?
So far I only have.
Is it going to be a symbol?
No. I'm not going Prince. So far I only have the first name. I haven't thought the last name. But if you think about it, celebrities or people who are well known, they always
Right.
have some kind of killer name, right? And I know now that you and I have been friends, I'm like Richard Powell, like
Yeah.
it's just
Yes, sir.
powerful. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So my first name, I'm thinking Chaz,
Chaz.
but I don't have the last name yet.
He's a Chaz.
So I was telling the wife, I'm like, if we do this, like you got to change your name too, right? We can't
Yeah.
run around with
Do
different
it.
names.
To Dave.
So she's like, well, what's the name going to be? I'm like, I don't know yet. So I don't know if I've sold it on her or not, but I'm thinking that I want to. I don't know. Like I'm all about change. I embrace change. I
default.
want new stuff.
yeah.
Reinvent myself. I'm
Yeah.
selling my house. I
Do
might as well
it.
get rid of the name.
I think you should,
all
man.
those Hollywood stars have got that's not real names.
You
Most
betcha.
of them got fake names.
Yeah. I mean, if your name is like Olga Tenkanovich and then you change it to like Tatiana Diamond, you're going to get different roles. You know what I mean? Like, come on, that's just how it is. And I have no kids, right? So I'm not carrying a bloodline.
Yeah.
I don't have a legacy to leave with my children. So why not?
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think?
So does that mean we got to call you Chaz moving forward?
Possibly.
It's
All
coming.
right, that's gonna be your
Chaz
new
Mullet.
thing. Chaz Mullet, yeah.
Everybody, podcast number 65. We got our reoccurring guest, Richard Powell, on the show. But let me talk about the sponsor real quick. VapeUp.co. You like CBD?
I haven't tried
Are you
CBD,
down with that?
no.
No? Well, let me tell you why.
I heard a lot about it though, and I think that it's a good product.
Well, VapeUp.co is our sponsor. Research shows that CBD is an effective supplement for deep, restful sleep and overall health and well-being. Studies also show that it is great for decreasing inflammation and can help alleviate anxiety and stress. Available in tincture, edible, and topical forms, and even in treats for your dog. Shop online, vapeup.co. Anyways, we used CBD for Bailey just before she passed away,
Okay.
and she had her first stroke a few months ago.
Okay.
Anyways, ended up.
So you know his dog died?
I saw a picture of
Bailey
it
did,
on Facebook, yeah.
So we were
Sorry to
giving her
hear that.
CBD and some heart meds, and she kind of bounced back from it.
Really?
It didn't last forever, and I can't say with 100% certainty that the CBD did it, but we gave it to her, and she did really well. And then something happened. We think it was a brain tumor. Something happened in her brain. All of a sudden, she had a stroke, and then all of a sudden, she was like walking in circles, and it would be like
man.
if I was snapping snap my fingers on each side of your head, and you're like this. That's what she was doing.
My dog did that.
Yeah?
My dog did that
All
like a year ago.
Yeah.
But she came back.
Oh, really?
She's still alive now. She's 16. My
Yeah.
little black lab. She's called Baby.
Yeah. So what? So she just stopped doing that, or
Well,
what?
They said that it was some type of vertigo.
Mm.
And so her eyes were shooting back and forth. She couldn't stand up properly. She was falling over.
Okay.
I drove her to the vets, like in tears, like crying my eyes out.
I know.
Like, I couldn't hardly even drive. Honestly, man, like that. And I walked in there like, it was like a scene out of a movie.
I
Like,
know, yeah.
booted in the door, like,
Yeah.
I need a vet.
Kick the door in. Somebody help my animal.
Oh my god! And I just sat in the corner, like just cuddling, like.
Was it like that episode or that movie with Will Smith?
Which one?
Yes, where he had to kill his own dog. That was the worst. Cracks
Oh
his
man,
neck.
no, 100% was that. 100%.
Oh, man,
100
that's if you watch that movie and you saw that.
I know
scene.
exactly. In Legend.
I Am Legend.
Legend.
Yeah.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
got
a
it.
classic. So Rick, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Episode 69. Can we bring on a performer of some sort? Can you handle that? Can you find somebody?
Define performer.
I was
Performer.
gonna say you need to define it
Performer.
with that number.
Like that kind of performer?
Yes.
I'll do my best. Umish. I don't know, man. Those days are behind me. I don't have any performers in my life anymore. I guess we got to go to the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to Yellow Pages for that one.
Oh boy.
When's the last time you guys saw Yellow Pages?
I think we
You
got
officially saw one.
I got one delivered to the house.
Yeah, I had one 2 months ago. It went
Yeah.
from the mailbox right to the recycling.
Right.
They can't be that big anymore.
They
right?
can't be
No, they're
publishing them no more,
Yeah.
man.
Did we just talk about this?
Everything's
Such a
on the
waste.
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who does that? Who would
Right.
put their effort into creating?
And it's
a
expensive,
Yellow
too.
Page?
Can you imagine how
Yeah.
much that is to print?
I guess there's some elderly people that probably still use Yellow Pages.
You know when you go to the Yellow Pages, when it's low, right? When there's only like 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
then you're one of 10 pages,
Right.
right? then it makes sense.
I guess so.
Right.
I remember my uncle coming into my office about like 5 years ago, and he's like, "Yeah, you got the yellow pages." I'm like, "What?" Like, we want to fax something too? What the hell are you talking about?
You remember when
I'll
fax
Google it
machines
for you.
were around?
Yeah.
Dude,
I
that
do.
was like, I don't even know how to do it. Never did.
You never faxed?
Never
So
faxed
you
in
were
my
just
life.
skipped that whole.
I hated it. I
the
know.
government
People are
still
like, "Can you
fax.
fax it to me?" I'm like, "Fax what? What do you mean by that?" Like, I could take a photo of it from my phone and I could email it to you. How does that sound? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scanning anything.
The government still asks you to fax things into
Oh,
them.
that's crazy.
You know, there's a small little reason to fax stuff, and that's just because if you need a signature. But even now, you have virtual signings.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems foolish to me.
It'd be interesting to bring back a realtor and figure out how they were able to do deals
Mhm.
without going into people's homes and like, because then you'd have to spray everything, fog everything down after
Right,
that. I
right,
don't know. Did they
right.
take those precautions?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
No,
and
they wouldn't
nothing
have.
really. Nothing passed his hands.
No. I know we actually put my house is for sale, so we put hand sanitizer
Oh yeah, that's right.
out.
How did that work for you?
Well, it's not like she comes in and cleans everything. Like, we clean it just
Mhm.
because we clean it, and we leave hand sanitizer on the counter with a sign that says, please sanitize on the way in, on the way out. That was a suggestion that we got from a different realtor. But that's about it,
That's good.
But we're not, we don't leave filth, right? So it's
Mhm.
nothing's obvious. We look pretty clean. But I don't know. I mean, where I live, you come walking into some of those houses. I don't know. You might want to be in a hazmat suit. Who
Is
knows?
that the CSP place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know. I mean, even before COVID, there's a lot of places that are just derelict and rats and asbestos and all kinds of stuff. So I guess you take your chances when you're walking into a house you might want to buy.
Yeah.
Right?
Big time.
100.
So I was just looking at you when you walked in. You looked all jacked, bro.
Yeah.
Shoulders are popping, chest is popping.
You get results fast.
Look at that big
Son.
smile on his face.
I'm starting to get some.
Have you lost
results.
weight, or like have you?
You know,
noticed something?
I
You haven't
don't
jumped on
want
the
to
scale?
wait. I don't want to jump on the
Okay,
scale.
good.
I want it to be a surprise.
Yeah. So what's going to be your increments?
Can
What,
we-
for Wayne? I
can-
guess introduce what we're talking
Yeah,
about to those
let's
who
do
don't
that.
know.
So Richard started working out under RJ's advice. He's been crushing it for a week, virtual workouts.
That's right.
You shot a video. Where was it posted? Facebook. You're talking about how you're
Right.
Yeah. And,
So what I'm doing is a 30-day transformation video,
Mhm.
and the transformation is hopefully going to happen.
Mhm. Get rid of that word, Richard.
You
It's
brought-
gonna happen.
Right.
And
Right.
What's
well,
the
I'm putting
title?
the
What's the
work in.
title?
It's I thought I was fit. Ends up it turns out I was fucked.
Wait until you got to do 10 crunches. You realize real quick
Oh.
you ain't fit.
Trust me. So I'll just give you a little background. Is like I am a gym guy.
Okay.
You'll always catch me in the gym every single day. I go there early in the morning every day to the gym.
Yeah.
So I assumed that I was very, very fit.
Yeah.
And as soon as I jump on RJ's fitness regime, I honestly realized within the first 5 minutes, I was like, man, this is tough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to doing, throwing on 2 plates, ripping out like 15 reps of, and thinking,
Bro, you're
Yeah,
such a
oh.
bro.
all big and tough.
Yeah.
And then I get on the floor and start doing these burpees.
Did you see his, like, these burpees?
Quick feet.
You almost
quick
wanted to kill
feet,
me there. You see that? I
Quick
was like,
feet,
holy
burpees, quick feet, burpees. And I'm like, oh my days.
30 seconds never felt so long, right?
Oh my day, and I'm recording all of them. So like by the end, we're gonna have like we're gonna have multiple promotional videos, and we're gonna have a mini documentary at the end of the transformation and trials and tribulations of what went on. But we're not changing the diet. That's one thing that we're not doing. We're just seeing what type of results can we get
Okay.
if we just do these workouts and just go for it.
Okay. So let's determine what your diet is, so people who are listening can say, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I want to hear, because your diet might be completely garbage, or maybe it's not too bad. So let's
Okay.
go with yesterday and just yesterday only. Give me, what did you eat?
Okay.
Nail it down for us.
In the morning, this is gonna be me.
And
trying
don't
to
lie.
remember.
If you went through drive-through, we need to know.
No drive-throughs were hit yesterday, but we did have a frozen pizza for dinner.
Okay.
We had frozen
Deep
pizza
and
for dinner.
delicious.
It was terrible. I only had 2 slices. It was gross. One of them ones that hasn't any sauce on it.
Frozen
Oh, yeah.
pizzas are
Oh
awful.
man,
Mm,
I'm
always
an extra
awful.
sauce guy as well.
Oh yeah.
So I
you
actually
can't do that. If you like pizza, you can't just get those. You know what I mean? They
No.
just don't do it. It's just
Right.
a waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do it's amazing why people would even buy those.
Yeah.
Considering that you can get a fresh one
filler.
delivered, probably maybe just for a few bucks more.
Or
Why
make
would
your
you?
own.
Or make your own. Yeah.
It's basically bread. They smeared some tomato sauce on it.
Right.
Threw on a couple pieces of cheese. That's all you got. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. It's
You-
terrible. Actually, drive-through. Man, now you're making me remember what I ate.
Uh-huh.
I went to Baraka, actually, because I
Oh,
was out all
over
day.
here.
Yes, sir.
Is that
Okay.
East Indian?
No,
Baraka?
no, that's like
it's
a
Turkish, I
pita.
think.
Yeah.
Oh, on Main
It's
Street.
like a donair.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Donair.
Yeah, yeah.
Donair,
Oh, that
yeah.
place is popular, man.
Yeah,
I had
I've
one
it.
of those for lunch, and I didn't have any breakfast because I was shooting a video for another client over in. I shoot impact videos for people's businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was on site recording that from early doors. So I finished there around 12:30. Had a Baraka, and then I had dude, like yesterday was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm literally I get up at 4:30 and I do this exercise, and it's to the point where if you want the results, and this is like we talked before coming on, like what should we talk about today? And two things which came to mind was setting goals and self-analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this is key because when we're not setting goals for ourselves, we're kind of floating around. And you ask somebody, well, what are you doing at the gym? And like, well, I just go to the gym. But what's your goal at the gym? And they're like, well, just to maintain or whatever. But for me, I thought I was maintaining. But now I switched over to a different workout. Now I have a goal of like, because we weighed in and I don't know how.
No, 69.
It's 68.
Yeah.
Don't put extra in. Don't put it, even though that's my
Body
favorite
age.
number.
Yeah.
Me too, man. I'm an old fart according to that stupid scale. I know.
Right.
I know.
Really still now?
Yeah. Yep.
68.
Yeah.
And I thought like maybe that's due to like me pickling my body through drinking and all of that. Like before, like I don't drink anymore, but when I used to drink and I was professional.
Yeah.
So basically, you ate just filler food yesterday. You had a donair.
Absolutely.
You had a pizza.
Right.
Maybe something else.
Right. No, that was
No
it.
vegetables. No nothing. Just.
So you know you're gonna have to
Vegetables in the
improve on
pita.
that, right? You know you got to
100%.
Well, we're
improve
going
on
30
that.
days. He doesn't even have to think about his diet.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
gonna see if we can make an
Oh, that's
impact
the challenge?
just from the workouts alone.
Okay.
Oh, here's
and
one
just
thing.
doing the workouts at home.
But then
alone.
why worry about weight, guys? Like, why even bother? Just worry
Well,
about your
let's see what it-
functional
let's see
movement.
what
Let's see
happens.
how
Oh,
you
we
know.
just want to see, get all the measurements, see
Yeah.
what goes down, what doesn't,
Yeah.
and adjust from there.
You
That's
know,
the
we
self-analysis
forgot to do
part.
the fitness testing.
And the measuring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like the camera. I like the scale.
Yep.
The shirts are better. The measurements is tough because it's subjective, right? So if I go
Okay.
down a quarter of an inch, or if you puff up your chest, or you deflate, or you stick your stomach, it's too variable. I don't like
Okay.
tape measures, to be
Oh,
honest with you.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay.
like, your arms, it's pretty pretty static. But everything else, like you can, like my stomach, I could stick my stomach out 6 inches, no
Right.
problem.
Yeah. I feel like
Right.
the best is just the photos.
Yeah.
Photos is always the
Photo-
best. It's the
360
truest
photo.
form, right?
Yeah.
But I also want to test your physicality, so you got to do that today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
We'll do it today.
As soon as you're done, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
1 minute.
man.
1 minute.
Again.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm
Just
excited for your transformation. I want to see what kind of results you can get. And you know why? Because you got a good mindset. So I feel like you're already champion of that. That's
Right.
our biggest challenge, getting
Yeah.
people in here and just getting them excited and getting them positive and getting
Right.
ready to be challenged. Biggest challenge is just getting them to, realize that they can do stuff.
Mhm.
And you're already that guy. We already know that, right? So now it's
Right.
just a matter of putting the weights in your hand and getting you to do burpees and
jeez.
or whatever he tells you to do, right?
Yeah. Oh my days, I hate burpees.
Well, it was
I'll
funny
tell you-
because he messaged me, right? So
Yeah.
so he's like, "Okay, he wants to start." So I thought we were gonna start Monday. This guy's like, "Hey, I want to work out today." This was Saturday, right?
Right.
Or was it Friday?
I think it was the Friday,
Oh, it
and
was
then I came down
yeah,
on the
you came
Saturday.
Friday.
Oh
Saturday,
no,
you
no, I
want to
came
work
here
out.
on the Friday
Friday.
and started on
And
the
then, so he
Sun-
messaged me Saturday. We don't do the lives on a Saturday, right? So I was like, okay. Sent him the Canada Day one. Remember that one?
Yep.
So hard. Sent him that one right away, laughing. Then he
Oh, is that
messaged-
right?
Yeah, yeah. And then he messaged me Sunday, and he's like, I want to do a workout today. I'm like, okay. So I was like, what do
There
we
you go.
normally do on Sundays? So Sundays is here,
Yeah.
and we're doing strong.
We eat ice cream. Oh yeah, strong.
Yeah, and eat ice cream. Yeah, so we do strong, and then
Yeah,
so I was
that
like,
was
well,
good.
this guy's got to do what we do then.
Yep.
So if you want to be and get the results, then you have to do exactly what we do. So I
Right.
sent you that strong. I said, we'll see if he does it, and you did it.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big kudos because it's
Mhm.
so far. Not only are our workouts so far out of the bro lifts,
Yeah.
but then to go and do a strong, that's the next level, right?
Right.
And so that's one of the things that we take pride in here is that there is no right or wrong way to get results. And we're going
Totally.
to try different things outside of the typical zone of working out. And one of them is doing the strong, right?
You know when Yeah, so we did all that, the weighing in and the measurements and all of that type of stuff. And I think one thing when we talk about mindset stuff and things like that is when we get results, we tend to go in on ourselves and kind of feel like that's a bad thing. Whereas, like, I'm of the mindset of every bit of analysis that you can do on yourself is knowledge that you need to know so you can move forward. Right? And it's not to sort of say, oh, I'm doing so badly. It's like, now I know what my goal needs to be.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Even to someone like yourself, RJ, who you know, you've got to a place where you're ripped and, you know, everything's pretty good, but you still have to do little things to sort of improve and find little areas that you want
Small
to tweak.
tweaks, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
Because you're the face of the business. People look to you, and if you didn't have the six pack and all of that, people would be like, well, why am I going to come to his gym if he's the trainer?
Yeah,
That's a
well,
true statement.
The six pack comes with the effort, right?
100%.
It's not that I'm. To me, yes, it matters how I look. I don't, but honestly, that's not what drives me. Well, do I
Right.
look fat in front of people coaching? No, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is am I fit and functional? So it's like when we do demonstrations here, like so today we're doing 12 exercises, right? So we're entertaining people. We're trying to demonstrate the exercise. We're keeping people moving in between. And so that's like a trio of like, go, go, go. By the time I got over to that 11th exercise, I'm like, woo, right? Woo, woo.
All you
And
hear
you're
on the
trying
mic.
not to like show that you're exhausted. Like you watching me doing the lives there, right? I'm like, yeah, and like my biceps are
Really?
burning double.
See, like I'm
Double.
there's
Jerome,
a
put the
part,
camera on Neri. Put
Yeah.
the camera on
Give
Neri.
me 5 seconds to breathe here, Jerome.
There's a few parts in my personal videos when I'm doing the thing,
Oh, yeah.
watching you,
Yeah.
and it's shooting me.
Yeah.
There's a few comments where I'm like, how's he still smiling? How's he still smiling?
Yeah.
He's having a good time. I'm not having a good time.
Yeah. And you know what the key is? The key to it is that you're present.
Right.
Right. And so whenever I'm coaching, right, I've got so many things. I got the podcast, I got kids, I got everything. You think about it, I got it. Okay. And it's hard to just dial in and zone in.
Yeah.
Because
present.
when I'm in it, that's what I am. If I'm not smiling, if I'm just kind of like this, that means I'm isolated on something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that means that
Right.
I'm not being present. So I'm taking myself out of where I am to where I was. And that's the one thing about working out is that it's an opportunity for you to just be present. Even if you're 50%, that's still 50% more than you are outside the world. While you're driving, you're texting, right? Or you shouldn't be. And while you're driving, you're listening to music. And while you're driving, you got your water there. While you're driving, you got the kids in the back. So even when you're supposed to be focused, you're not.
Right. And that's one of the things, actually, I talk about that a lot with people who I work with, coaching clients and all of that, is presence. Like whenever you're feeling anxieties, whenever you're really worried about things, things that are out of your control, that's when you'll think of either future or past. And all you need to do is come and be in the present. Like, am I still alive? Am I surrounded by people who love me?
Yeah.
You know,
Actually, that happened.
come back to the present. Like, that's such a key element. And if anybody out there who's listening does any type of meditation practice, which I 100% advocate for, presence is the key to that, because you can't be thinking of any. You've got to try and control those thoughts.
Yeah.
And calm it down.
Yeah. Compartmentalize them.
Right.
Put them in a spot. I actually made a mistake yesterday. I got invited to a pool in the middle of the day, and I was kind of busy at work, right? But I could have done it from the phone. I could have not had to be on my computer. You know what I mean? Like, you can always figure out a way to do it. And I didn't go because I thought, and then I got to be here, and I got to, make sure that I'm ready to go. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I could have done it. Like, there was an hour and a half where I did absolutely nothing, and I was just kind of filling space. It was like, this right could be at the pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. Living in the moment, being present, just being, like I always say, whenever I ride my bike, I like to stop and just look where I am because I feel like, we just whiz past stuff all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, stop for 5 seconds. I feel like that's a good part
And
of
you
life,
see
right?
there is don't always be looking for the magnificent,
Yeah, man.
amazing thing to be like, okay, now I can be present.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You can be sat at home in your backyard
Mm-hmm.
and become present. Just look around you, surroundings.
Yeah.
How you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
I'm sat here, I'm calm, I'm safe. We take for granted how safe we are in this country. We're sat here, we're safe. My family are around me. Maybe you've got a beautiful yard. Look at some of the flowers. Take them in. All of that type
agree.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Just take it in for a minute.
Yeah.
and just be in the moment. Don't think about what you're doing 5 hours from now, 2 weeks from now. Just be right there and then.
Yeah.
And especially if you're with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I always try to have at least 2 hours in the day where it's like, okay, phone down, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing else but them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what's going on. What anyone else wants to say, they can leave a message on my phone.
Yeah, for 2 hours.
I think it's also good to be selfish too. So
Yes.
you 100% have to give time to those around you, because if they're giving you the time to have your own time, you have to give them some time too, right? To reflect and just make it all about them. But at the same time, it's okay sometimes to be selfish, where if you're going to be on your phone, on social media, you got to understand that that is your episode of whatever.
Right.
You don't get to watch TV. That is it, right? So like if you're like, oh, I don't have time for myself, I don't get to go work out. It's like, well, what about the 2 hours that you're on your phone, like swiping through?
We fool ourselves
like
with
that is your time.
Yeah.
We
Like,
fool ourselves with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always saying that. And the word selfish, unfortunately, has a negative connotation. That's unfortunate. I feel like, if anything, it should be one of the most positive things. And, yeah, you should take time for yourself, whatever you need, right?
Yeah.
But the second, especially for you parents, not necessarily for us non-parents, but if you're, and that we run into it with the moms here all the time, right? They had kids, so they gave it all to their family, and then the kids are grown up, now they're here, right?
Oh, man.
I never gave any time to myself.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing that we hear all the time. And it's unfortunate that you couldn't take 30 minutes or 1 hour or whatever, and then you wouldn't be in the position that you are now. Not that necessarily it's a bad thing. It's good that you're doing it now. Better late than never.
Right.
But why not ingrain our kids or ingrain ourselves as saying, you know what, take 1 hour, and it's always about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
and
it, man.
so today we brought Jet to a kids' day camp. So
Okay.
just a half day. You know, it's sad, right?
What is
Like
that,
you're-
by the way? Just explain
So
what a day
gymnastics,
camp
they got the same flooring, everything. It's just
Okay.
all day. They have activities planned for these guys. They're
Cool.
tumbling, they're jumping
Nice.
jacks. It's a workout.
Very cool.
Right? And
Yeah.
so I said to Neri, hey, Neri, they got these kids camps. There's openings. And she's like, I could tell her brain's going into August. I'm like, there's an opening tomorrow. I said, you get a half day. Just go do something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can take that time. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it. And she has such resilience. She never complains.
Right.
Never complains about
Yeah.
being a mom. Never complains taking the kid. Yesterday, I was sitting on the couch and I'm just beat, right? I just played 2 hours of tennis. And so I just turned on the Sons of Anarchy episode and I'm like, all right, yeah. I just literally sat down and then they walked in. And then she left. She was going to go and drop something off. And I was thinking, oh, man, she's leaving the kids here.
Just started the
She
episode.
just took them. She took them. I'm like,
Oh,
man,
really?
that is badass.
You gotta
Yeah.
give it to the moms.
Oh,
though, like,
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if the kids were left with the dads, the kids
Oh.
would lose them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they'd be lost.
they
They'd just
wouldn't have any clean
cereal out of a
clothes.
box, right? Box, milk, right
Oh, my
out
God.
of the box.
Honestly, like,
It's like, are you done with that cereal? I don't think so. Put it back in the fridge. It goes back in the box in the fridge.
I mean,
Cut the
like,
grass,
don't get
kid.
me wrong. Like, I do daddy duties, but nobody does like parenting duties like mommy.
Like moms, I don't know.
No.
There's got to be some type of strong resilience. That's why when you come to the gym here, like you see the ladies on there, like they're doing the same workouts that we are and almost
Oh,
the
man.
same resistance.
Oh
Big
man.
time,
Like if you think about body weight to weight that they're
That's
pushing.
one of the things that keeps me going. Actually, on those videos, right? Just for like, is someone at home,
Yeah.
instead of like just like, okay, this is my regimen, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
When I'm sat there watching other people do it, and then I see other people in the background doing it too, and I'm like, if she's doing it, I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what am I complaining
Yeah.
about? And they're doing it with a smile on their face. Obviously, they've been here for a while, hopefully, and
The women,
See, that's the good thing to know, though, is that
Right.
yes, most of them have been here for a couple years already,
Exactly,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
definitely have a
Yeah.
lot more workouts under their belt.
yeah.
the women here are very inspiring, and one of the things that I learned real quick is that new women, when they come here, they're very, for the most part, they're weak, right? If they've never trained with weights, they
Right.
don't have a lot of power, so they go to the little weights, and they're scared because they don't want to, hurt their hands or
Yeah.
or get sore.
Yeah.
They don't want to look like men, right?
Yeah,
They don't want
yeah.
to bulk
Right.
up, and they immediately have that. But once you put the weight in their hand, you encourage them a little bit, and then they start to pick up on it. They accelerate at 1,000%
Fast.
compared to
Very fast.
men, and then all of a sudden they just take this on like they're just like a demon inside them, and they're like, "Give me more, give me weight."
that's
And
crazy.
they're our
Isn't that
best
funny?
clients.
Yeah.
Like,
They
females, when they
outdo-
take over projects and things like that at
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
They're on it. You know,
Yeah.
you start a project at home, right?
And then you start another one before that one's
right.
done, and then the next
But
one
you
happens.
get to the point where you're like, oh, I've had nothing, and they'll look at you like, we're not done here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm done. You're
Yeah.
like, no,
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that, right? You get the list.
So here's the thing. When it comes to mornings, right?
Mhm.
Like if you talk to a lot of people, they're just like, oh man, I'm not feeling good today. Body's sore. I think your mind plays a trick. So what would you suggest to somebody when they get up in the morning and they're like, like I don't want to get out of bed. For us now that you're working out, like your legs are probably pretty tired.
They're hurting.
They're hurting, right?
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
then
yeah.
your mind starts to immediately play tricks on you on the things that you're not going to do today.
You know what? That goes back to what I was saying with goals and self-analysis. Because if I had no goal, because right in my mind, maybe this is just me. I don't know, you tell me if this is you guys are driven too. When I set a goal, I've set that 30-day marker now.
Yeah.
Like I want to have significant gains or losses by that 30 days. Now I've got that marker. I'm like, no, I don't get to make those excuses. You're up and you're hurting. Good. That means you've done it right. And if I didn't have that goal, I wouldn't necessarily be so gung-ho about it. I might be like, you know what, you're hurting right now. Just lay back down in bed.
Yeah.
You can touch the snooze button.
Yeah.
But like when I have that goal, I'm like, boom, out of bed. No excuses. And this comes to another thing which I always tell people is like everyone should be a morning person because that's when we are at our best. Our brain is at our strongest,
Less clutter.
right? And our bodies have regenerated and we're good to go, and there's lots of people say, well, I've always been a night person, and that's only because that's where you've been. You can switch back. It's been proven that in mornings we're able to get more done. We're cognitively stronger. We're able to think better. By the evening time, your brain is fatigued.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm more of a night person, but I agree with you.
Right.
I do. Yeah. I just hate getting up super early and moving. Simple as that. I don't mind working out. I love working out.
I don't know how many people do. I would consider myself a morning person. But for me to get out of bed is like
I know, and then to know that within 30 minutes I'm gonna be lifting weights.
Got 100 pounds on my chest, and I get out of bed. Then I'm like, I do my what are they called, incantation or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then I chug a water, and then I go right to the toilet.
Feel those bowels moving.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No,
That's important.
I'm one of those very, very annoying morning people. Wake
really?
up, I'm like, hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, you
And
would
they're
piss
like,
me right off for sure, man. I'd be like,
no
get out of
coffee.
here.
No coffee or anything. I'm like, I'm already being loud and
Yeah.
yeah. That's just my personality.
No, I really enjoy working out in the evenings because I feel like I always explain it like this. I don't know the real reason behind it, but I feel like my bones are warm at that point. In the morning, I feel like it's not even the muscular. It's in my bones. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like very. I know this is going to sound like I'm an old man, but it feels like the bones just are they're not pliable yet. You know what I mean? But as I warm up and I don't know, maybe the bone marrow warms up. I don't even know how to explain it. But I feel really dynamic in the evenings.
Really?
No, makes sense. Yeah, your body's moving.
That's just me personally. Yeah. But I do agree. You're more productive. You get more things done when you have that power hour, like first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? If you follow him, you'll see how he structures everything. So, and especially when the rest of the world is sleeping, how much can you get done, right?
Exactly. And that's what you just stepped on there is like a killer key. Especially if you're a business person, right? If I always look at it like this: if I get to the gym, if I'm out of bed at 4:30 in the morning, and I get in the gym working out by 5, and let's say I only work out for an hour, I'm done at 6. Most people aren't even getting out of bed. I'm already going 1,000 miles an hour already, and I do this thing called the gym mastermind with myself. This is my own little creation that I do, because I find as soon as I get that exercise going, my mind starts generating thought after thought after thought of business ideas, things that I need to be doing within my business. So you'll always see me in the gym with a pad of paper, and I've got this little book that I take and writing things down. So I'll be like doing a set, and I'm like, oh, boom, and I've already got my agenda written out and everything. I know exactly what I'm doing that day. I've got brand new ideas. I call it the gym mastermind because it's the brain is getting far more oxygen and blood flowing to it. So that's why it's at a higher level when you're working out and you're able to think. So if you add that and purposely think about what you're trying to do, like if you're trying to, it doesn't have to be business. It can be like just stuff around the house, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But if you want to have deep thought, just do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have. You can have an audio book on if you want,
Mm-hmm.
or music, whatever. But get yourself moving
Yeah.
and keep yourself in that sort of mindset of I'm trying to learn something here.
Yeah.
And for me, things come flying in.
Yeah.
So you're doing the workouts. You did Saturday, Sunday. You did Monday,
Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Today's Thursday, so you did Wednesday already. So
Thursday.
that's 5 days in a
I
row.
did Thursday.
Atta boy.
Wait,
That's
today's
good.
Thursday.
Yeah, I did today already. I did yesterday. So I'm a day behind.
Oh,
right?
okay, right.
I
right.
did abs today.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did the abs.
Okay,
this
so
morning.
what would you tell somebody? Like, what is the key? How are you going to structure? Are you going to go 7 days a week, or
I'm
what is your
probably
plan?
gonna go till Friday
Okay.
and then take a day.
Okay.
But those days I'll probably just do some weights,
Mm.
just like my regular
Yeah,
weights.
slow burn. Yeah.
Right. And again, that's the gym mastermind
Yeah.
stuff. For me, it's
Mhm.
just the way I process my thoughts.
Mhm.
But I'd say it's within you set yourself a goal. Where do you want to be? And here's what I meant for the self-analysis, right? It's because when you self-analyze at the end, say you don't hit your goal, right? Because many of us don't hit the goal that we set out, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not okay to go in on yourself and say, I cannot do this. It's like, no, you've now got all the analyzation necessary to go forward and achieve that goal the next time,
Mm-hmm.
because you've just done a whole process.
Yeah.
You've done a 30-day process of like, okay, so let's analyze what I did there.
Yeah.
What needed to change?
Yeah.
You know, for some reason, I think I said this last time I was here, you get to a certain age and you feel like you should know everything. And then when you don't achieve the things that you set out to do, you either pretend that it didn't happen or you think that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Where that's not the case. But just to know that self-analysis is key to getting yourself further forward in life and developing the person that you want to be. Because every single one of us has this innate greatness just sat below the surface. It's been there all our lives. And we've had to come to a certain point in life to realize, oh, okay, so now it's time for me to shine as me rather than as I want to be for everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? And once you hit that, it is imperative that we start analyzing what we do. What are the things that you're eating? This is one thing I wanted to point out. It came up a lot this week, is that now I had that goal. Apart from the pizza last night, I had purposely been eating better because I'm like, you know what? No, because I had that inkling of the golden arches. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
If I ever work late and I drive past those golden arches, I think straight
Sucks you
away
right in,
junior
right?
chicken.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I'm just gonna grab a junior chicken. That's
Yeah.
it, just a little junior chicken. I end up with 4.
Because they're $1.99, right? Yeah.
But, and as I'm eating, I'm like, why am I eating this? You know, it's just like, this is disgusting. And then I wake up feeling terrible in the morning. I know it's a bad thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
When you've got a goal like such as 30-day, I want to transform something, right? You don't make those silly decisions. You're like, you know what? No, that's against your goal now because that's fighting against you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Goal, guilt, shame.
Yeah.
You should look at those as positives too. And your golden arches is my Burger King. I have the same story. And back,
I like Burger King too.
Yeah. You remember when 2 Whoppers for $6?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Free.
I do.
Deal.
Free burgers, basically.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean?
$8 now.
Every time I leave the gym, I got to
I know Burger King.
$8.
$8
$8,
now.
yeah. So I mean, it's still pretty good. $4 a burger. Anyways,
Yeah.
driving past that, it would always be the challenge. Like, don't look at it, just drive by, step on the gas, go faster.
So
Make sure.
what's the solution to that?
What's the
Basically, solution?
it's like you said, you got to set some goals and you got to set yourself some higher standards. You got to take that guilt and the shame, the guilt of knowing that what you're about to do is going to be wrong, the shame of doing it, and turn that into your positive. You know?
And I mean, not to go too hard on it, because it's okay now and again.
No, you
It's
got to go
okay.
hard on yourself. You can't. You got to be fucking relentless.
At least a little bit.
You
For
got
a
to be
little while,
relentless.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean,
agree with that.
You know what, I'll tell you this, because we always give ourselves a break. Give yourself a break. You deserved it. You walked 3 steps. Go get your head. Enough.
Right.
Enough of that shit. If you want to actually change yourself, you can't allow yourself these small things unless you have it planned in your meal plan and then you earned it.
That's why I meant.
Yes.
If you
Yeah.
because it does sneak back in. it's like you have one and then you're like, oh, you know what, I'll just have another.
Yeah.
No, I'll just, and then suddenly you're eating it every day.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this,
That's how it
I
sneaks
would
back
consider
every
myself
time.
a pretty disciplined guy. And so for me, like I love those. I'm into the pita bites right now.
Okay.
With the tzatziki.
Oh, is that what you're talking about this morning in the class?
Yeah. So pita bites.
Shout
tzatziki
out to
from
Costco.
Yes,
You
yes.
should work for them.
But I'm a guy that can eat 5 of them.
Right.
Right. I can eat 5 of them. I'll rack it up, put it back in the shelf.
Yeah.
Other people, I don't know, man. Like that's hard for me.
Right.
And I consider myself pretty disciplined when it comes to stuff like that. I can't imagine people giving themselves a little bit of slack and stopping right there. Like I can eat a half a chocolate. There's a half chocolate bar sitting in my fridge right now. It's been in there for a week.
That's awesome.
But you know what I mean?
That's
But
awesome.
like Neri's like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
I can't do that. Why do you do that? And I'm like, that's just how I've trained my brain. But
Yeah.
most people out there, my suggestion to you is don't give yourself that inch, because you
Yeah.
give yourself an inch, you're going to give yourself a mile.
Exactly.
If you say that I'm going to take a day off because my arm or something is sore, like that's just part of the game, right? And it's like I like that reward and earn, right? So it's like if you're going to eat, pick one day, pick 1 hour. And go ahead.
Yeah.
Go to town, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I
your
think-
body will let you know if that's okay.
And then wait till you see how good it tastes.
Yeah. Oh, you enjoy it. Like,
You damn right.
What you were saying is like after the first couple bites, you're over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all the buildup. It's the
It is.
climax.
Yeah, you're so
and then you
right,
get in there and
actually.
you eat it.
You're right.
And you're like, oh, this is so good. And then you're like, all right. And then if you just stop and chill for a bit, you'll be like, all right, that was like, I'm good. I'm fulfilled.
And you know what? It's just like
At
drugs.
one or two junior chickens. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
not 4.
Not
Yeah.
four, not
I think
four.
3 and 4 is where you start crying.
That's
1, you're happy.
Yeah.
2, you're
Start
kind of
crying.
like 2, you're like, I don't know. 3, you're crying, and
Yeah.
4, you're just
Yeah.
you pulled over already.
I'm done.
You're depressed. You're popping depression pills. That's it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I personally feel like you got to set some real high standards for yourself if you want to make changes like that.
Right.
And this whole like you only live once phrase.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up. Of course you only live once. Live better.
Yeah.
Live healthier.
Yeah.
Live awesome. Live
Yeah.
thin.
So
Live
right.
present.
Live
There's other
present.
ways you can do it. You don't need to
Try
be
and
drinking
live
and eating every
longer.
single day.
Why do we reward ourselves with shitty stuff and say, well, you only leave once, therefore you should have 7 McChickens? Why not? You only leave once. You should, have a nutritious salad.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of those
See what I'm
excuses
saying?
things,
Yeah,
though, right?
It's
We
this
make
mind mess up that
excuses.
we have. I don't know. It's
I
crazy.
think, but just to take it back, as RJ said, he's a very disciplined guy. He's been doing it for many years. I'm pretty disciplined. I absolutely mess up from time to time, but like I'm far more disciplined than others that I know.
You got it.
But when let's, for instance, think that somebody listening to this, like he's eating terribly, not working out, or anything like that, right? I definitely wouldn't advocate for going all in straight away. I advocate for doing it slowly into like, okay, I'm going to change my diet.
I agree
this
with
month.
you. Yeah.
I'm going to, and don't, because you set yourself up for failure otherwise. You must focus on one thing at a time. Everyone tries to do it. So, okay, so I've got to change my diet. I've got to go to the gym
Supplements.
5 times a week. I've got to get the supplements in, and then I've got to go running. I've got to get a bike, and
Got a
then
meal prep. Got a grocery
Right.
shop.
At
Got
the end of
Right.
the day, you're like,
to start changing my
Oh.
whole family's eating.
Yeah.
right, and then suddenly it's like I can't do, because
Any
you
of it.
you've set yourself up for failure,
Yeah.
and you fail. And then
that's
you're
called
done.
January 1st, right there.
Yeah.
Right, the New Year's resolution.
100%.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and that's why I go back. I have this 50% rule when it comes down to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You cut everything in half incrementally, right?
Yeah.
So even like as small as sugar with coffee, or coffee with sugar and cream. Well, you have a coffee, you still use the same amount of coffee, but you cut back your sugar 50%.
Yep.
Maybe you do that for a week.
Mhm.
Following week, you cut that sugar another 50%, and you get incrementally whatever it is that you're doing, right? So instead of eating,
Right.
2 frozen pizzas, you're down to 1 frozen pizza. Instead of 4 junior chickens, you're
Yeah.
down to 2. But you incrementally make sure that you
Yeah.
always
Right.
do it until you get to the
Right.
point where it becomes a lot easier, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with you 100%.
100%.
My point was, once you get past that initial part where you
Yes.
are, then set a standard, right? Because what I'm saying
Right.
with your goal, once you set the goal, you want to hit that goal.
Yeah.
There's a way to hit your goal, but you can't give yourself these little breaks anymore,
No.
or the you only live once
No.
chat in your own
Yeah.
brain, right?
Yeah.
I was
So-
talking to a couple people through chat the other day, and they're leads, right? So they're inquiring about joining and this and that. And then this couple people were like, "Oh, you know what? I'm just enjoying summer right now, and I'll consider after summer." I'm like, by the time after summer comes, and I don't want to be blunt, but I'm like, you're going to be up 15.
I know.
You're going to be so out of shape that you're going to try so hard that you're going to fail within a week, and it's going to be horrible. And I'm like, you know what I do? I send them in homework, and I say this. All right, no worries. Like, I'm not going to pressure you, right? I'm not a sales guy, right? Like, ever since COVID, I'm like, you know what? You don't want to come? Don't come.
Yeah.
But hey, guess what? Here's 2 workouts I want you to do. Report back to me when you get them done. I've gotten no responses yet.
Yeah, and come on, guys.
No response. You can do it at your own time, at
those
home.
workouts that you're doing online, half an hour.
Yeah,
Everyone's
that's
got
it.
half an hour.
They're not even a half hour. They're 22 to 25 minutes.
And then the stretching.
Yeah.
I love the stretching part.
So do I. That's like my favorite part right now, and I'm
Yeah.
so sore.
I've
I
really
gotta put
started
together
to
this wicked stretch routine.
Yeah.
I'm so sore.
I've really started to
Yeah.
enjoy stretching, and man, I've realized that I was so unflexible up until pre-COVID when I thought I was pretty good.
I'm so
You know?
flexible. Like these
Yeah.
guys are doing like these things where you pull one leg up on top of the other and then pull it back, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna see the video and you're gonna laugh. There's gonna be lots of funny
can't wait to
moments
see
in
that.
those
I
videos,
can't
man.
wait for that. Like
It's
that,
gonna be funny.
that shin, where we sit on our
Oh,
butt
yeah,
and
yeah.
put the
The one
your
I always
feet
start
flat.
off with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
rocking back and forth.
Can you do that?
No.
This guy's in pain. He's.
Never
I'm
did
looking
it.
at his face. I'm like,
I know. I'm
what's
like,
wrong, Ray?
like I'm leaning forward. I'm rotating. I'm like, oh god, like the pain is. I'm just trying not to cramp. Trying to find that angle where it's not excruciating.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
now I
right.
got to the point where I can actually sit there. I
And
can
lean
even go
back.
back on my hands.
Really?
So it's
Yeah.
improved.
As you say, like bit by bit,
Yeah.
you're able to do anything.
Yeah, you bet.
That's what, and that's one thing that people always take for granted. They think that they can do certain. They forget how little they can do in a short amount of time, but how much they can do in a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
But everyone,
Consistency.
And you don't
as
give
said,
up right away. Oh, Rick, you can't do that stretch. That's it. I'm done. I'm trying something new that didn't work.
I want karate.
Yeah, I want to go to karate.
Right.
Something completely the opposite end,
The
right?
sticking with things is
Yeah.
a huge thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But and again,
And you're
I
gonna
think
have pain. Like
that's to
there's
do with
gonna
that-
be pain in
that pill
everything that
thing.
you do that's growing towards something. If you want to make more money, well, now you're gonna take on a new role. There's gonna be more demand of you.
Mhm.
If you want to get in better shape, you're gonna have to eat better. You're gonna have to work out. You're gonna get a little bit sore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you want to improve your life. Well, you got to start getting up 10 minutes early.
Mhm.
Like it's unfortunate you can't sleep in till you got to go right to work.
Yeah.
But that soreness subsides.
It
You know,
does.
it subsides
Yeah.
to not as bad as you still get it, but you're working out right when
Yeah.
that's happening, and you almost. I know this is gonna sound like a sadomasochism type comment, but you kind of start to enjoy the pain.
You do.
hell
and
yeah,
I
you
like
do.
and I like
Right?
dishing
Oh,
it
yeah.
out. So
Right?
You get
No,
it.
but you've done something,
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah. Well, like we were talking before the podcast,
Yeah.
everybody's going to suffer from pain their entire life.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You just decide which pain that's going to be,
Yeah.
right? Like I remember I used to always have gut pain, bad stomach aches.
Oh yeah, I used to be drinking that stuff like crazy.
Always, every time I'd eat food, because it's shit food, I'd have a stomach ache onto the toilet, right? Explosive diarrhea. Like, this is the pain that you live with if you're going to live an unhealthy life.
Yeah.
Now I don't have that pain as much,
Yeah.
but now I've got, like today, my ass cheeks are so sore from the 1,000 lunges I did yesterday.
Man.
But I love it, and I know it's a positive pain. So
Yeah.
everybody has to realize that you're going to hurt
Yeah.
some way, somehow, your entire life. Live with some pain.
But
You don't need a pill right away. You don't need booze right away.
Right.
You don't need to smoke marijuana
Yeah.
right away. You don't need to eat.
You
your
don't need a
problems away.
vacation.
You don't need a vacation.
Yeah.
You can, deal with some pain, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
And if somebody that has a title behind their name tells you, oh, you need to take 6 weeks off, Rick, that's just their easy way of getting you out of their face because they're not
Right.
going to monitor you. So are they? And this is what drives me nuts. If somebody tells you, so let's say you go see somebody with the title, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and this person with this title says, oh, you've got a little thing going on in your forearm, right? I had one person with a thumb injury, an injury, not a sprain, not a break, just an injury. You need to take 6 weeks off. If that person tells you 6 weeks off, that person better also be saying, can you check in with me weekly so that we can monitor this thumb and see if we can get you back sooner?
Yeah.
If they're just saying, here's a prescription and take 6 weeks off from the gym and there's no weekly follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
then you can't, I would never take that order.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think-
Because
I think
there's
I think
nothing
they're
in there.
they're talking about liability there though as
Liability.
well, because
Yeah.
like if they sent no, just go ahead and they've done their thumb in, then
Yeah.
they can get sued. It's a little bit of a dicey game
It is.
for a let's call it
Yeah.
person with the title.
Yeah.
We'll keep it like that.
Yeah.
It's a dicey game. They're scared,
Yeah.
right, of,
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of getting sued.
That's true.
But like I spoke to somebody on my podcast who is a holistic care person, right?
Yeah.
And she put it like this, you go to doctors to get sort of pain like medications, right? But you go for holistic care to deal with things which are more what the word she said? It sounded great in my mind when I was about to
Intrinsic?
say it. But basically
Like internally?
what was it? Well, there was a phrase that she how she put it. It will come back to me. But the doctors are they'll throw pills at you. Like when I was sick, right? I was off work for over a year, Went through a whole bunch of stuff, chemo and all of that, right? And the doctors were throwing all these different drugs at me. The moment I started to change my diet, change the way I thought, that's the moment things started to change. And that's, I had a tumor and it shrank. Due, nothing to do, because they cut me up and all of that, and it still came back. But then as soon as I decided, okay, I'm going to take this on in my mind, because I truly believe that your mind-body connection is so strong. That's when it started to change. And the funniest thing was when I went back to the doctor and I told him, listen, I had to stop taking all the Percocets you were throwing at me and all of that, because they were messing me up. But I really concentrated on my mental health and started talking about looking at my diet, doing elimination diets to see what my body was like. When you said that explosive diarrhea, I was straight away thinking milk and things like that, right? Because most of us are lactose intolerant. I started telling him all this. He had no interest in it at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
He's like, oh, so you better now. You don't need any pills, K, bye.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think people like that with titles, I mean, their job is to be reactive, right? You have a problem, they fix your problem immediately. People like us, we're proactive. We're going to try and solve your problem before you have that problem. Or at least we're trying to anyways. You might come to us too late, but we'll incrementally fix it naturally.
Well, I think what happens too is also the consumer, meaning like us going to a person with the title, the 9 or 8 out of 10 people that walk through that door just want the magic pill.
Right.
And so they're conditioned to just give you the magic pill, right? Like if they say, okay, well, your cholesterol is a little high, Richard. It's going to be a 12-week step program, and you got to come in here weekly. We got to do some blood work. You're also going to have to start tracking your nutrition and start making sure you're getting 40 grams of fiber. You're like, isn't there a pill for that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They
So I don't think that it's just their problem. I think it's also our problem. It's like, some of our clients coming in here and they've been working out for 3 days and they're like, well, I've been eating right. I've been working out every single day and I haven't seen a result yet. And we're like, here's a magic pill.
And
like
literally it's 3 days.
Like,
He's not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
It's that quick. They want these instant gratification.
So I think that works to the same extent for us seeing medical help. It's like, you know what? I got this problem. Give me a pill.
Even with things like depression, right? 'Cause I was on depression pills and all of that. And they definitely do help. But one thing that I always tell people, anyone who asks, is that you must not just think that that's going to solve the problem. That just makes the problem a little easier to deal with. Now comes the work for you to start understanding your mind, because the mind is the part that you need to understand in that. And if you don't do that, those pills stop working and you start taking more.
Absolutely.
You need to do the work.
Yeah.
You really do. And like it's so hard at the point when you're on those things, because not many people want to be on them. And then it becomes a crutch, and you're not ready to do the work sometimes because it's hard work. Most of the stuff is like very, very confronting to you. Like this stuff that you've hidden away for years. Most of the time it's this treasure chest of garbage that is built up over so much time, and you're like, I just want to put that in the closet and forget about it. It's like, no, now it's time to pull that out of the closet and start one by one going through those things and starting to put yourself back together, because like there is always a way back. Always.
For everybody.
A way
at
back.
any age.
Always.
Oh, absolutely. Completely agree with that.
Always. And again, this is that mind plus body. This is something I always say. Mind plus body equals power. So you guys, like, exercise is a huge part of getting control of your mind. You must control your body, get your body back into shape, because your body is communicating with your mind, telling it all sorts of stuff, and you're misunderstanding it, taking it for you're useless. It's like, no, get your body into shape, start to understand your mind, and you will have the most powerful expression of your life possible.
Yeah. Would you say that being healthy, having a body that you're comfortable in your own skin is pretty much everything? Do you feel like it's everything with respect to it affects all the spin-offs that we have problems with?
I wouldn't say it's everything, but it's a major part. This is your vessel in this world to live around. This is the thing that you look at in the mirror every single time you pass a reflective material.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're, and this happens to so many people, they see, and you hear this from girls all the time as well. They, oh my God, I'm so fat. Straight away. And maybe they're overweight, or maybe they think
Or
they're
they're
fat.
probably not.
But what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything about it? And that's not to say, I'm trying not to sound like a bit of an asshole, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you have a problem, it is on you to solve that problem. Nobody's going to solve it for you. Nobody. People are going to feel sorry for you and, give you comfort and stuff. But the hard work is yours and yours only.
Yeah. See, I would almost disagree or partly disagree with what you said. I feel like if you're in shape or you feel comfortable in your skin, all of your problems will be solved. Because if you think, no, I'm serious. Because if you think about it, let's discuss it. Some people are, say, introverts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or some people have anxiety problems. If you analyze each one of these people, and I have people in my life that suffer, looking at them, you can tell that they're not comfortable with the way they look, so they don't want to put themselves out there. I used to be fat. I used to be uncomfortable with the way I looked, and I didn't want to be in pictures. I didn't want to be put out there anymore. It was a different thing for me. Second, that I became more in shape and feel better with myself, I became more of an extrovert. You know what I mean? I was out there. My confidence went back up. Health reasons. If you're unhealthy, if you get yourself in shape, chances are 99% of your problems are going to be fixed. Right? You have sore joints, you have bad guts, you have bad skin. Eat better food, get healthier. You're going to feel better. I've experienced it. This is me talking about experience, not what I think. I personally feel, and this isn't me being a salesman or a fitness coach, if you keep healthy, if you simplify it and keep your waist thin, you're going to solve 99% of your problems, or you're not even going to have them in the first place.
I understand what you're saying there, and I actually have an analysis for what you're saying. That what you're speaking about is to do with something called the collective unconscious.
Okay.
Right, and the collective unconscious is like a Jungian theory from Carl Jung, and it's about the archetypes within people, right? And one of the things which is so many people identify with this is the shadow. So the collective unconscious is made up of 4 different parts. It's the persona, which is like the mask that you put onto everybody around you. The anime, the animus, which is the feminine, the masculine within every single human being. I just lost the step there. The anime, the animus, the self, the shadow, and the
and the fourth one.
And the fourth one.
Mr. Archetypes.
Yeah,
Where is it, buddy?
It's dropping off. Like once you stumble,
I know.
it falls by the
plus,
wayside.
no pressure. No pressure.
Do you ever notice that the people that
that's the
title
shadow.
themselves as,
the persona? That's what I said. Yeah.
Do you ever notice that the people that classify themselves as an introvert are the people that work out the hardest? Like Mandy, she says that she's an introvert. Jesse says he's an introvert. I would think those are probably 2 of our hardest working clients.
Jesse's always the one that's like going like full bore,
on
right?
camera.
Yeah.
I don't think he's an introvert at all.
But you put one of these in front of him and he freezes up. He says it
I
himself.
watch it because he's on the videos and stuff like that. I'm watching. He is going like full bore. And I'm like, man, and we're like near the end, and he's like, I'm like, wow.
I've had a lot of people say that to me, like when the people that are working out, and they're like, oh, and you know what, I'm just so shy, and I don't know how you do it, and blah, blah. I'm like, really? Because I would have never known that from working out. Yeah,
that's their story they're spinning.
Exactly.
Everybody has that story which goes along with their self-narrative. It spins and spins and spins inside of themselves, and they've determined who they are through these stories they tell themselves. You start to tell yourself a new story, a new person comes out.
There it is. Yep.
And that's that persona. So the persona part is the mask, and it's hiding the shadow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because most people are trying to hide their shadow part. And the shadow part of every human being are the things that you don't want everybody to know, you're kind of ashamed of, and all of that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the real and true self comes through, so the self governs all of it.
Yeah.
Right? And you got the persona, which guards all of this stuff that they don't want to know. And then the anime, the animus, the feminine, the masculine, it shadows in like all the stuff which you need to be. Like a man needs to be a little bit more compassionate. Say my children, I brought my children here today.
Yeah.
If they've hurt themselves or if they're in a moment of pain, I need to be identifying more in the feminine side and bringing them to me and saying it's okay and giving them a hug and being gentle, right? And females also. If you get a female who's like ultra feminine, and just what you're like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I can't do that. Is you always get that feeling. It's like, just grow a set of balls. You can do it.
Yeah, you can.
And
Yep.
so the women who have that moments, like especially business women, you know, you get these striking business women who like they control a room, and you're like, well, I wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I've got more respect for that. And
Yeah.
and by the way, as I say this, if you do lean to either side, this isn't a like judgment moment. This
No,
is
of course
just
not.
a understanding of your personality,
Mhm.
because that's what the collective unconscious is for. Understanding your personalities, where you might be going wrong, and how to correct it to get that powerful expression of life that we all have. So that shadow part is not something we want to cut. Everyone's like, well, I wish I wasn't like that. No, that's not what you should think.
Mhm.
That's part of you.
Yeah.
Bring that in.
Yeah.
This is part of you. Understand. I'm not saying like go out and be the Joker or something, start killing everybody and all that. But what I'm saying is understand that shadow which is within every human being. So then you can understand why it is that way, and then you can bring it in and be that full self.
Yeah, for sure.
I think everybody has an energy to give, and the people that are introverted, like I said, they're the ones that generally are working out the hardest on the floor. This is the exit. This is their release. So they may
Right.
not say a lot, but they can give a lot, and they give it in different ways.
Right.
And that's one of the things that when I walk around and the people I'm like, all right, let's go, you got this. They don't generally talk. They just go and they work hard.
Right.
I mean, this is that their stage to kind of like let it out. So
And what do they mean by introvert? I always find that a very funny statement. Introvert, extrovert.
I feel like those are terms that have been created over time, right? I mean, back in the day, you were either shy or you weren't shy. Now you're an introvert or an extrovert. Like these medical terms or these terms that are created by people to justify the way that they are. You know, like let's talk about Mandy or Jesse. I don't think that they're introverts at all. The fact that they come out here and they work out in a group environment does not. You're an introvert. You're sitting in the corner of your house in the dark in front of your computer. You know what I mean?
That's funny that you said that, right?
Yeah.
Because when you say certain words, they give you a certain image in your mind, right?
Exactly.
And so you just explain in your mind when someone says introvert to you, you believe it's like a person who withdraws from the world, sits in their room, and doesn't speak to anybody and all that, right? And they have their own vision. Everybody has this vision of what that means. And extrovert too. Every single word that is a descriptive word like that has that image, that story which goes along with it.
Yeah.
So when somebody says I'm an introvert, like I always like to dive into like, well, what do you mean by that? Because you'll find people's explanation of what an introvert means to them is very different things. And there's sometimes there's a little bit of fear there. Like maybe I used to be an extrovert, but now I'm an introvert. I don't know what happened. But you do, but you've decided to close that part of you down because you're hurt by it. And that's real. All that stuff's real. And it's very important that you come to terms with that, because you can't grow with, because it's like a stumbling block that you need to get over to go to that next level.
Yeah.
But we run away from those things because they're scary and hard to deal with. You know, these things that confront us so hard like that. It's like, why am I like that? And then if anybody else knows that I was like that, nobody will like me. I better just suppress that and never think about it again, right?
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way to go. But you actually, it's a test for you. It's a test for you to understand that and come to terms with that and let it go. Let it go, because everyone's beautiful just the way they are.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. And nobody should conform, right?
No.
You don't need to conform, but you got to try.
Right.
You always got to try to be a little bit better. And unfortunately, we get
that's the hard part, the trying.
And you know what? And if you push somebody too hard, right, then you're shaming them. I guess another term that's been created that now if you say, maybe you're a little overweight, we should try help. Well, now you're shaming me. That's humans creating things, making things more complicated.
Right.
We've created terms. Now we've got these ways of self-justification. And that's the unfortunate part, right? So, yeah, you're right. You can be an introvert. You can be an extrovert. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I do fitness. What does that mean? I walk my dog every day. That's one thing of fitness. Or I come here and I crush doubles every day. That's a different thing, but it's fitness, right? What does that mean exactly? So at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to it, getting back to my point, if you feel comfortable in your own skin, you're going to be the best version of yourself. And that's it. I'll leave
Yeah,
it there.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You must feel happy with who you are.
Yeah,
And if you
try.
don't,
And try.
if you don't, then you must start to figure out.
It's
Start
up to
the
you.
work.
It's
Right,
up to you,
right.
right? Yeah, you got to
Start
take
the
the bull by the
work.
horns. You
Start
got
the work. If you don't like who you are, start the work.
Yeah.
Start to correct. Don't just say like, because this is one thing. Because RJ, you have one thing that you say you have to do burpees every time you do it. You try not to do something.
Depends. So criticizing.
Criticizing.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's one. One thing I'm working on right now is to stop talking about those people.
Okay. So
Everybody's got those people. So,
So
that-
mine
that's
is
that's the
blame.
next level for me.
my thing's blame. I
Okay.
don't get to blame.
Yeah.
I don't get to blame anybody for anything because
Yeah.
I create my life. I create everything that goes on in my world,
Yeah.
right? And that's not to say somebody hasn't caused. It's not all my fault, right? But I don't get to say there. Well, if this didn't happen, I would be da 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 da.
Right.
Because all that creates is a story for you not to move forward,
Right.
right? Well, as soon as you start to blame people, like you are giving away your power. You're giving away the stuff which you create. You can create the life which you truly desire, just like that.
So your tweak is to stop talking about those people.
Yep.
Yours is to stop blaming.
Right.
And mine is going to be to live life through actions, not words.
Also,
That's what it's gonna be, yeah.
the using self-analysis as and goals as something to move you forward,
Yeah.
rather than to
Yeah.
self destroy yourself.
Gentlemen, we're at the 1 hour mark. We're going to wrap up the podcast here. Richard Powell, I want to appreciate you coming on here. Where can they find your YouTube channel?
They can find me at Richard Powell on YouTube. I have my Powell the podcast on there, and
Yeah.
I also do mini documentaries and any type of sort of motivational content on there.
And both RJ and I have been guests on your podcasts.
Yes.
And I've watched many of them. They're very good. And
Thank you
by the way,
very
you've got
much.
the best voice to be a motivational speaker.
Oh, I
by the way.
really appreciate that, my friends.
Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Have a good day. Don't forget, you guys can follow us on FitClub Media on YouTube.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with everybody you know.
Fit Club, there ain't no pie like a fit.